Alan was the strongest hero who got reincarnated into another world but hid his powers to live an ordinary life. However, everything changed when his crush was in danger, so he revealed his true strength to save her and crack anyone after her. The story begins with Alan facing his father, Duke Craig, who believes that Alan is a disappointment because he has no divine power and he should have been better off as a spoon. Since Craig has had enough of Alan, he casts Alan out of his family. However, when Alan leaves the house, he feels relieved because he's finally free to live the peaceful, ordinary life he always wanted after spending his previous life as a hero. Afterward, he takes a stroll and is forced to stop when he sees Beatrice, a knight from afar, fighting off magical wolves to protect Lisa, the princess of the kingdom. Alan immediately recognizes Lisa as his former betrothed, who once defended him when people called him a vegetable for lacking divine powers. As Beatrice continues to fight off the wolves, one of them slices her chest, causing her to fall. Since Lisa, the only person who believed in Alan, is in danger, Alan activates his hero magic and pulls a reverse flash speed burst to reach Lisa in time and save her. Getting there, Lisa is shocked to see him, so he decides to aura farm by landing a deadly magic attack that finishes off all the wolves in one hit. After the fight, Lisa becomes worried and starts crying because Beatrice is in critical condition. Seeing this, Alan quickly uses his powers to heal Beatrice back into peak condition, which shocks Lisa because she doesn't recall him being so cracked. Curious, she asks Alan what his secret is, but the dude starts to think of a lie to tell her since he does not want them to know it's his power from his past life. To change the topic, Alan asks about their mission in the area, so they explain that Lisa received a divine revelation that brought them there, only for them to almost become wolf dessert. Alan then decides to help them fix their broken wagon with his magic so they can continue their trip. As he joins them, he opens up to Lisa about the situation with his family, so she promises to help him in any way she can, which leaves him relieved. Soon after, they reach the nearest village, but as they walk through, they find it strange that the place is quiet and that there are no monsters around. Just then, Lisa draws their attention to some villagers gathered in front of a house, and they notice the village chief pushing Akira, a hero, out of the house. Lisa recognizes her and realizes that her revelation directed her to Akira. Turns out, Akira possesses a special gift that grants her the power of 1,000 warriors, and Lisa's revelation entailed that she must save Akira from impending danger. As they settle down for dinner, they learn that Akira is just a low-budget Dora the Explorer who happened to stumble upon a youngster while passing through the village. The youngster told her that she escaped from where she was supposed to be sacrificed to the dragon that settled in their village, so she felt sorry for her. Akira went to the village chief for more details on the matter, only to be tossed out like trash. Alan figures the villagers are doing the sacrifice in exchange for receiving the dragon's protection, while Lisa wonders what they can do to protect the youngster. When they ask about the youngster, Akira reveals that she has kept her safe in a cave until things get sorted out. She then announces she is going to defeat the dragon, so the others decide to tag along. Getting to the mountain, Akira casts a lightning spell to destroy the dragon, but the dragon dusts it. Refusing to give up, Akira brags that her next spell will definitely send it to the afterlife, only for the dragon to taunt her by showing her the youngster it already dragged from the cave where she kept her. Pissed, Akira charges up an ultra spell to barbecue the dragon, but the dragon remains unscathed, and then uses its tail to paralyze her. As she accepts defeat, waiting for the dragon to do her, Alan suddenly appears and cracks it from the back. As Lisa and Beatrice show up, he tells them to watch over Akira before going to attack the dragon. Mid-fight, the dragon refuses to believe Alan's dull sword can inflict injury on a red dragon king like itself, so it rushes over to the lady's side to put them at risk, but Lisa signals to Alan to do whatever it takes. Seeing this, Alan charges up and pierces the dragon's chest using his ultimate skill, which causes the dragon to die on the spot. A few hours later, Alan wakes up from a power nap to see Lisa, who shows him that the youngster is chilling while watching Akira and Beatrice battle each other, like the loser has to be on the youngster's speed dial. A worried Lisa then looks at him, making him remember the time he caught her healing Akira after the fight, so he assures her that her secret of possessing a healing spirit is safe with him, which leaves her relieved. Shortly after, they all prepare to head to the next village, but Akira tells them she will be taking the youngster with her on her solo exploring, especially since the youngster now acts like she is her favorite auntie. With that, she and the youngster walk away while the others stare at them, impressed that they make the perfect duo. As they continue their journey, Lisa tells Alan she has a friend who can make a new sword for him because she feels partly responsible for his sword's untimely death since he got caught up in her revelation saga, so Alan replies that he is fine with meeting her friend. A few hours later, they stop to rest because it is late for them to continue. While at it, a sleepy Lisa rests on Alan, and the proximity makes him remember the time little Lisa first approached him to tell him that they were betrothed. The following morning, they arrive at Lisa's friend's house. However, Beatrice points out that for a swordsmith who is supposed to be ringing, the house looks like a library during exam week. Alan goes to check on the front door and calls them to let them know it is unlocked. Inside the house, Alan checks out the swords collection on display only to be interrupted by Lisa's scream. Immediately, he and Beatrice rush to check on Lisa, and they find her staring at a passed-out elf who happens to be Noelle, Lisa's friend. Beatrice then sits Noelle up, reminding Lisa that it's normal for Noelle to pass out at awkward times. Shortly after, Lisa uses her healing magic to wake Noelle while Alan asks if Lisa always does it anytime Noelle passes out. Lisa confirms that she does, adding that she was only shocked because it's been a while since she's seen her. Beatrice also lets him know that once Noelle is hell-bent on working, not even a shirtless eye-candy male elf can distract her. Soon after, Noelle wakes up to see Alan and asks about his identity. Beatrice replies that he is one of Lisa's bodyguards, so Noelle figures that Lisa probably wants her to forge a sword for him. However, Noelle claims that she has orders piled up so she can't attend to them, which makes Lisa feel bad because she thought she was besties with Noelle. Noelle explains that she can see Hardy has a sword, so he quickly shows her that it is broken. Noelle uses her gift of recognizing exceptional swords to check the sword, and she is surprised to see such an exceptional sword damaged beyond repair. She then decides to help him forge another sword, promising to make him one only a hero is qualified to wield. Alan replies that he would love that, and she kicks them out of her house because she loves working alone. They then decide to find an inn to stay in for the meantime, so they head there. Getting to the inn, Alan talks about how bored he is, so Lisa suggests that he check out the village's adventurers guild, and Beatrice adds that he could sell the materials they obtained from the dragon for cool cash. Alan quickly agrees because he could really use the money in his current state, so Lisa tells him that she and Beatrice will take a stroll when he leaves. Impressed with the plan, he takes his leave. Shortly after, he arrives at the Adventurers Guild to sell dragon scales, but seeing the rare scales only shocks the attendant, so she rushes to tell her manager. After the attendant leaves, a strange guy named Horace and his sidekick, Mylene, approach Alan for more deets on the dragon, explaining that they are wanderers who love to hear adventurous stories. Alan then yaps on about how he got help from Akira to defeat the dragon, but before Horace can question him further, the attendant returns to tell him that she is ready to buy the scales. By the time Alan turns to look at his visitors, he sees that they've suddenly left. The following morning, Alan and the ladies visit Noelle only to see that she has passed out once again. After Lisa heals her, she points at the ready-made sword. Alan grabs it for a quality check and basically gives Noelle a 5-star review on the spot. Shortly after, Alan and Noelle head into the woods to test the sword, and Alan uses the chance to ask why a baddie like her chose to be a swordsmith. Noelle replies that she once lost her memory, and it was a dwarf named Vanessa who saw her and saved her. She then adds that Vanessa was a swordsmith who never wanted to teach her the job before running off because she cannot believe she is sharing her personal information with a guy she just met the day before. After she runs off, Horace and Mylene approach Alan once again to ask if he is on his way to hunt monsters. Realizing that he is, Horace wishes him good luck just in time for Noelle to call him so they can continue their journey. Horace and Mylene then excuse themselves to another part of the wood to talk about how Alan does not find them suspicious. Still, Horace tells Mylene to stalk him, so she disappears. Meanwhile, Alan continues to test his sword on any unlucky monsters he finds. When he is done, Noelle checks the sword with her gift and confirms that he is using the sword perfectly. She then hands him the sword and tells her to follow him deep into the woods to find high-graded monsters. Deep into the woods, Noelle is amused that there are no monsters and thinks it's because they are scared of Alan's sword. But Alan steps forward to slash the dark cloud he can see covering the area, only for them to see Fenrir, a white wolf that Noelle recognizes as the monster that eliminated Vanessa. Enraged, Noelle orders Alan to slice Fenrir into pieces. Alan refuses because Fenrir is just sleeping, so he sees no reason to attack it. Noelle angrily grabs his sword and rushes towards the wolf, but soon stops when he tells her that Fenrir has a barrier that can nullify the attack of any sword that is not sacred. Since she knows she's not wielding a sacred sword, she stays rooted in her spot, annoyed that she can't do anything. Moments later, Alan tells Lisa and Beatrice about Fenrir and that he thinks someone must have brought it to the woods since that is not its natural habitat. Beatrice worries that they have to proceed with caution, but Alan just asks what they did after he went to the Adventurers Guild because he finds it hard to believe they only came to the village to forge a sword for him. Lisa smiles in defeat and comes clean about how, after the renowned General Cyril of their kingdom was eliminated, all the evidence points to a demon being responsible for the murder. Beatrice adds that since the demons don't have the guts to do it alone, someone must have joined forces with them. Lisa then talks about how the village is literally the TMZ of the kingdom, so they decided to visit for clues. Hearing this, Alan tells them about some suspicious people he met recently, which catches the ladies completely off guard. In the meantime, Mylene goes to check on Fenrir, and she is surprised to discover that Alan already cleared the cloud used to protect it from humans. However, when she returns to give Horace the report, she refuses to mention it to him, and since Horace finds nothing interesting, he orders her to eliminate Lise and Noel, leaving her shocked. Seeing that she is wavering, Horace activates the spell he uses to tame her to do his bidding. A few hours later, Noel works on Alan's sword, remembering how Alan told her after they left the woods that the sword can be upgraded to take on Fenrir. Moments later, Noel dreams of the time Fenrir and Horace eliminated Vanessa because they believe her ability to forge sacred swords can pose a problem for their mission. Fenrir then rushes to eat Noel next, but Akira stops it by slicing it with her sword to injure it. Horace and Fenrir then quickly retreat before Akira sends them to Lord. After they leave, a defeated Noel stares at Vanessa's dead body, furious that her sword broke while she was trying to fight Fenrir. When Noel eventually wakes up, she continues working on the sword until she finishes. She then heads to the woods with it, determined to put an end to Fenrir. Getting to Fenrir, she proceeds to strike it, but it wakes just then and kicks her to the side. Still, Noel stands to face it only for Horace to appear and mock her for trying to be Wonder Woman. Taking a closer look at her, Horace realizes she was with Vanessa when they attacked her and can't wait for Fenrir to send her to whatever afterlife Vanessa is currently in. Annoyed, Noel rushes towards Fenrir with the sword, but Fenrir escapes and kicks her to the ground. Horace then moves closer to her, proposing that she work for him since she possesses a special gift, so it will be a waste for her to be reduced to Fenrir's snack. He adds that he is aware that she has a powerful sight that makes her among the 5 people who possess supernatural inborn gifts, promising to compensate her for the service she would render him. Noel bitterly refuses, wishing to die rather than be his sidekick, so he signals to Fenrir to fulfill her wish. However, Alan suddenly arrives to stop Fenrir with his sword, causing Horace to express how he really underestimated his ability and lets him know that he already sent Mylene after Beatrice and Lisa anyway. However, Alan replies to Horace that he already found him suspicious, so he already gave the ladies a barrier spell that makes them sense Mylene's presence if she is in their range. True to Alan's words, the ladies sense Mylene's presence, causing Beatrice to engage Mylene in an intense fight until Beatrice gets distracted by Lisa calling her. Mylene uses the chance to hit her and rush to Lisa. She holds Lisa at sword point, but she cannot bring herself to finish her off, so Beatrice knocks her out with her sword. Alan confirms with his divine eyes that the ladies have captured Mylene, so he tells Horace about it, but Horace refuses to believe and brags that he still has Fenrir, his trump card, that will shred him and Noel to pieces. With that, he orders Fenrir to take them out, so Fenrir rushes towards Alan, but Alan uses the sword to clear it in a clean sweep. Horace is absolutely stunned to see this, so he quickly disappears to save his head. The following morning, a tied-up Mylene faces her fate as Alan and the ladies debate what to do with her, especially since they've released her from Horace's spell. Lisa feels it is best to take her to her village, but she replies that her village has been burnt to ashes, so she has nowhere to go. Hearing this makes Noel remember the time Vanessa took her to her house after finding her, so she decides to take Mylene to live with her. However, Beatrice feels Mylene may want to attack Lisa again, so Noel assures Beatrice that she would catch Mylene and scold her if such happens. Hearing this leaves Mylene relieved, and she starts to cry while Alan excuses himself to look for Horace to question him. However, Horace, who has escaped deep into the mountains, wonders what kind of power Alan possesses. While at it, a demon suddenly approaches him, which leaves him scared. By the time Alan traces Horace to the mountains, he finds Horace's dead body and becomes disappointed. Shortly after, the demon responsible for Horace's demise returns to Craig's house to tell Craig and Brett, Alan's younger brother, that he has taken care of Horace to prevent him from spilling their secret. It then promises to deal with Lisa and Noel next while Craig decides to focus on Akira and the Archbishop. Brett quickly offers to personally deal with the Archbishop, promising to do a better job than Alan, his failure of a brother. The following evening, Alan, Lisa, and Beatrice arrive at another village. They learn that the villagers are preparing for their annual Spirits Festival, where they welcome spirits of their departed ancestors. Curious that Cyril may be among the spirits, Lisa asks if any of the spirits dress in silver armor, but the villagers have never noticed such a spirit. They then pay a visit to the village's graveyard even though Beatrice is seconds away from wetting her pants. So when she hears footsteps behind her, she gets into attack mode only to see one of the villagers from earlier staring dumbly at them. Shortly after, the dude shows them the village head's house to get more deets on what they are looking for. However, Alan questions why the dude visited them at the graveyard. He replies he saw them passing by before taking his leave, but Alan finds his reply suspicious. Inside the house, the village head lets them know that he has no idea who they are looking for and offers that they stay the night so they can join the festival, which is scheduled for the following morning, so Alan takes his offer. Minutes later, Lisa sleeps in the room arranged for her, only to dream of herself playing with Alfred, her uncle, whom she always considers her second father. When she eventually wakes, she hears a window open, so she goes to check it out. She then sees her uncle outside the house, so she rushes out to follow him, only to be stopped by ghosts who want a taste of her. Immediately, she screams out, and Alan quickly wakes her up, making her realize she was just dreaming. She then hugs a shocked Alan for emotional support because the dream really traumatized her. The following morning, the villagers pull up like they are auditioning for a horror movie to celebrate the festival, while Alan, Lise, and Beatrice watch them from afar. As they continue to dance to their village version of DJ Khaled's music, the dude from the previous day walks up to Alan and the ladies and urges them to join the dance. Lisa then suggests that Alan and Beatrice go while she rests for a bit. Alan and Beatrice comply, but as soon as they leave, Lisa suddenly notices Alfred in the crowd, so she chases after him until she gets into the woods. She sees Alfred and talks about how she has always wondered where he had been all this time because his body was never found after he fell to his death. He replies that he kept his distance because he low-key hates their family, so he has been preparing secretly to take revenge on her father, the king, especially. He adds that her father is trying to eliminate her because of her inborn gifts as well as others like Akira, Noel, a powerful knight, the kingdom's archbishop, and Lisa, who possess similar gifts since he believes they have the power to destroy the kingdom. She refuses to believe his theory and tries to persuade him to stop whatever revenge plan he has, but he refuses to listen and pulls out his sword to strike her. Just then, Alan arrives to block Alfred's attack, which catches her completely off guard. Alfred quickly recognizes Alan as Lisa's former fiancé who has a failure trademark to his name. However, Alan knows Alfred is under a spell, so he casts a spell to free Alfred. After Alan is done, Alfred thanks him for saving him and tells Lisa that a demon, not her father, is actually responsible for the hunt. However, he still low-key hates their family because even though he is Lisa's father's younger brother, people turn them against each other, thinking he might be after the throne. So he chose to be a knight, and the only thing he loves about his family is Lisa. Since he is minutes away from returning to the spirit's world, he challenges Alan to a duel to know if he is man enough to protect Lisa. Alan accepts the challenge and the two engage in an intense fight that lasts for hours, while Lisa watches in fear. When Alfred becomes exhausted from the fight, he bids Lisa farewell, calling her a daughter any father would love to have. Lisa replies that she would forever love him, and he takes his last breath, thereby causing Lisa to cry. After the festival finally ends, the village head approaches Alan to ask if he noticed anything suspicious. Alan replies that he knows the town is full of dead people from the very beginning and that he is the one controlling them, but he chose not to get involved since the village looks peaceful. The village head then summons ghosts to make him bow to his power as a demon, but Alan slices them all in two at once, and when the village head dies, he turns into a pebble as a souvenir. On the way out of the village the following morning, Alan scans the pebble with his divine eyes and discovers that Brett used dark magic to control the village head and also place Alfred's head on Cyril's body to lure Lisa. Just then, Lisa receives intel that Cyril has returned to the kingdom, thereby leaving them completely stunned. Ever since Brett and Alan's mother died years ago, Brett has always been terrified of Craig, his father. Though he still tries to get Craig's attention, Craig always treats him like the YouTube ad you skip after 5 seconds. The servants also gossip about how he is unserious compared to his brother Alan, which always makes him furious, so whenever Alan tries to play with him, he ignores him out of spite. Now that he has powers worthy enough to be acknowledged by Craig demands that he join him on his revenge quest, and he gladly accepts. Back in the kingdom, rumors of Cyril's return from the dead spread faster than bad news at a family reunion among the people, reaching Edward, the captain of the King's Knights, thanks to Clark, his second-in-command. Edward tells Clark to ignore the rumors and focus on their ultimate goal, which is to always protect the king because that is what Cyril would want. As they continue their journey, the archbishop suddenly stops them to request that Edward follow him to a place where they can talk in secret. Edward excuses himself from Clark and follows the archbishop. Minutes later, they stop at an abandoned house where the archbishop suddenly disappears, which leaves Edward suspicious. While still trying to understand what is going on, Craig suddenly appears to attack him with his sword, but he blocks his attack. Edward then asks Craig why he chose to approach him like the biblical thief in the night, adding that the last time he saw him was at his wife's burial. However, Craig ignores his question and attacks him once again. In the meantime, Brett returns to the kingdom and uses the chance to reminisce on the time his mother died, which causes him to wonder what his fate would be. Though Alan tried to comfort him, he is more concerned that the only parent he has left thinks he is a failure. So when Craig discovers that his power has risen more than Alan's, he acknowledges him as his favorite son and casts Alan aside. However, he becomes angry that Alan allows people to talk down to him because they believe he is powerless, so he vows to take over their house after Craig's death because he feels he is more worthy than Craig. When he is done reminiscing, a demon appears to ask for the update, and he replies that he already used his power to make the archbishop lure Edward to Craig. The demon points out that Edward shouldn't be underestimated because he has the power to nullify the gifts of people who try to attack him, but Brett assures the demon that Craig is handling him, and if things go south, he can always rely on his powers to bring him down. Just then, another demon appears to tell the other demon that they've spotted Akira, so they disappear to go take her out. In another part of the kingdom, a clueless Akira walks the youngster on a house hunting mission, but as they continue, Akira senses creatures stalking them. So she stops, and 4 demons appear to corner her and the youngster, which makes her wonder what they want. One of the demons then activates a chip implanted in the youngster, and it makes her feel pain. Apparently, the demons have the chip on all the villagers, which gives them the power to explode them anytime they feel like it. They then prepare to launch a fireball, curious to know if Akira will leave the youngster alone or stick with her and get turned into roasted bacon. Immediately, the youngster pushes Akira because she does not want her to get hurt, but Akira refuses to leave her side, so one of the demons launches a fireball in their direction. In the meantime, Clark surveys the area with some knights because he is beginning to worry about Edward's whereabouts. While at it, a demon approaches them to talk about how he would love to deliver a message. Turns out, Cyril and the Archbishop are currently working under Brett's spell to brainwash the people into giving up their gifts, claiming that it just makes them slaves to the gods. However, the people feel some type of way about the news because the gifts were granted to them to protect the kingdom. To convince them, Brett reveals himself and shows them a rocky-looking monster. Cyril quickly adds that the monster would protect their kingdom in exchange for their gift. And since the people believe Cyril is the king's most trusted knight, they start to believe him. Brett then reveals that they will be collaborating with demons to protect the people, but this just makes the people scared because they've never seen demons before. Cyril assures them not to fret because they have formed a cooperative relationship with the demons, and it was the demons that let them know their gifts are just meant to keep them from exploring. As the people continue to listen, they learn that the demons will lend them powers that will replace their gifts, so they cheer victoriously, which makes Brett feel like he is the Obama of his kingdom. In the meantime, Craig and Edward continue to fight, and Edward learns that the reason why he can't nullify Craig's gift is that he has collaborated with the demons to level up his gifts. Craig also refuses to believe the demons' tale about giving up their gifts, and as he continues to argue with it, Beatrice approaches them to interrupt them. By this time, Craig has finally held Edward at sword point, and as he is about to finish him off, Akira interrupts him, which catches him off guard because she is supposed to be dead. Apparently, Akira's sword formed a shield that protected her and the youngster from the demon's attack. Brett also continues to bask in his newfound popularity, only for him to suddenly see Alan from afar, which leaves him furious. Alan shows the people a hologram of Beatrice, confronting the demon she approached about its collaboration with Craig to eliminate the real Cyril and attempt to take out Lise by sending monsters after her. The clueless demon agrees to Beatrice's confrontation, adding that the demons believe those who possess powerful gifts like Lise will only stop their plans. Mylene continues to use her gift to broadcast its tea to the people through the hologram with Alan. Seeing this, Brett becomes pissed because he believes all Alan ever does is get in his way, so he screams at Alan to mind his business. Immediately, the people sense foul play in Brett's doings, which makes Brett realize he has messed up the plan. Just then, Lise joins Alan and confirms that Craig did send wolves after that, and they looked exactly like the rocky-looking monster Brett showed them. Surprised, the people talk about how they almost fell into Brett's trap, which causes a furious Brett to laugh wickedly like the Joker before summoning a spell to control the knights guiding the area to attack Alan. Alan quickly undoes Brett's spell, causing Cyril, the Archbishop, and the knights to fall to their deaths. Annoyed that Alan is winning, Brett summons the rocky-looking monsters, leaving the people scared, so they run for their lives. Brett then charges towards Alan with his spell, but Alan stops it and slams him to the floor in a clean sweep. After that, he tells Lise to take care of the people while he goes to stop Craig. Lisa asks if he would be okay, especially since the last time he saw Craig, he stripped him of his family membership. So Alan assures her that he will be alright. Beatrice and Mylene also work together to attack the demon Beatrice, confronted till they strike it down with their swords. After the fight, Clark thanks Beatrice for saving them, but Beatrice just lets him know that they can save the appreciation for later because the demons have started causing chaos over the kingdom. Clark promises to get to work with the rest of the knights, only for Noelle to arrive with a bag of swords the knights can use to fight the demons. Clark appreciates Noelle's thoughtfulness, but the poor chick is just acting on Alan's instruction. In the meantime, Akira and Edward are confused about what to do because Craig is radiating pure dark magic, especially since he can predict the moves they try to make. Annoyed, Edward tells Craig that his dead wife would never approve of whatever charade he has going on. Craig replies that he could not believe his wife, who was possessed with a great gift to give birth to a hero, only ended up giving birth to a bum. Annoyed that his wife died after suffering such a terrible fate, which he is sure was devised by the gods, he plans to end all the gifts in the world out of spite. Akira finds it hard to believe that the great Craig is causing trouble because he is a hopeless romantic who can't get over his dead lover. Craig then summons dark magic to end Akira for verbally summarizing his tragic story to the back page of a New York bestseller. Akira quickly blocks it with her sword, only for the dark magic to overpower her sword and send her in the opposite direction. Seeing this, Edward warns Craig that using that amount of demonic power will reduce his lifespan, but Craig just uses the magic to hold Edward hostage. Still, Edward takes painful steps towards Craig to appeal to him, only for Craig to pierce him with his sword, and he falls to his knees. While Akira watches in horror, Craig then casts his spell at Akira, but Alan suddenly arrives to block the spell from reaching her, leaving her relieved. Craig laughs because he cannot believe his failure of a son is trying to play hero, so he summons his dark spell to attack Alan. Alan blocks it with his sword, which catches him by surprise, so he asks for his power source. Alan innocently replies that he is still the failure he thinks he is, but he draws the line where Craig starts attacking the people of the kingdom for his personal revenge, and even his mother won't approve of that. Annoyed that Alan mentioned his wife, he uses all his might to summon a powerful spell to destroy Alan. Alan tries his best to block it with his sword until he finds himself drowning in a sea where memories of his father keep flooding his mind. He learns from the memories that Craig actually loved his mother, which made him low-key feel bad for Craig. So he summons the strength to regain consciousness and charges up his sword to form hundreds of swords to destroy him. Craig bleeds from the impact until the dark magic consumes him and forms a dark cloud all over the kingdom, which leaves the people scared. Lisa quickly appeals to the people to calm down because she believes Alan will figure something out. True to her belief, Alan charges up his sword and rushes to hit Craig in the chest, thereby causing Craig to break into a million pieces. Alan then finds himself in an alternate universe where he sees that Craig has been reduced to a rolling ball of wool. Feeling sorry for him, he pierces the wool with his sword so he can put an end to Craig's suffering. After the fight, the king thanks Alan for helping his kingdom and grants him the title of the Duke of his father's house as an appreciation gift. However, Alan respectfully declines. Shortly after, Alan, Noel, and Mylene prepare to continue their wandering journey, only for Lisa to rush towards them because she wants to accompany them. Getting to them, she reveals that her father has given her ownership of Alan's father's house since nobody is willing to take it, so she is free to do whatever she wants. Alan congratulates her while a curious Noel asks about Beatrice. Lisa replies that since Beatrice is a royal guard, she has been assigned another role even though Beatrice did not like it. She then adds that she is safe as long as she's with Alan, which makes Alan feel important. The following morning in Lisa's newly bought mansion, Lisa tells Alan to join her for breakfast. As he takes his seat, Lisa is surprised to see Noel join them in her silky garments. Stunned, Lisa reacts as she has never seen an unclothed chick before, but Noel just tells Alan to come to her room after breakfast for a sneak peek, which causes Lisa to overheat, and she accuses Alan of leading her on. After the whole shenanigans, they settle down for breakfast, and while at it, Noel tells Alan to hurry up because he will be helping her test out her new sword once he finishes. However, Lisa tells them that she wants him to help with some paperwork, and Mylene adds that he is supposed to take a nap with her. Stunned, he wonders how he is going to address all the requests, only for the Adventurers Guild's attendant to barge in to confront Alan for refusing to show up at the guild to attend to the requests set aside for him. The attendant then drags him with her, but the ladies stop her by also dragging the rest of his body like he is the last exotic toy on display in a convenience store. A few hours later, Alan rests after attending to all the ladies' requests, only for him to return to the mansion and announce to the ladies that he would love to travel to the neighboring kingdom because he wishes to settle there. Noel has always heard about the skilled dwarven swordsmiths who fill the kingdom, and she offers to tag along to check them out. A confused Alan asks Noel why she thinks the journey is a group excursion, only for Mylene to signify she would also tag along. Noel argues that situations may arise where he would need their help during the journey, and he agrees, which makes Noel celebrate that she has a bag to park. The following morning, Alan and the ladies begin their journey to the neighboring kingdom, but Noel worries that Lisa ditching her new role to follow them may not look good to the king. Lisa replies that she can just tell the king she visited the kingdom for research purposes, since her new role also covers protecting their kingdom's borders. A few hours later, Alan suddenly stops their wagon, making the ladies wonder if he sensed danger. Alan then points their attention to sand wolves, who have a track record of eliminating anyone who comes their way. However, Alan slices the wolves in a clean sweep before continuing the journey, while the ladies just look at him like it's a normal day since they are used to him flexing his powers. Shortly after, they arrive at the kingdom, and as they take a stroll, Alan feels the area is intimidating because it is filled with an unusual number of guards. As they continue to stroll, a red-haired chick named Henriette bumps into Alan, and as he tries to apologize, he quickly recognizes her as his best pal from his past life. Henriette also acts shocked to see him, and she asks what brought him to her area. Instead of replying, he returns the question to Henriette, who replies that it is none of his business, so he should let her go already. When she eventually frees herself from his hold, the ladies ask him if she is his ex or something, only for Lisa to recognize her as the daughter of one of the kingdom's high-ranking nobles. Henriette also recognizes Lisa from one of her kingdom's magazines, so she asks what brings an esteemed person like her to her kingdom. Lisa quickly lies that they are sightseeing, but Henriette can tell that she is lying. Henriette refuses to press them further and warns them to return home because her kingdom is going through a lot of problems, so visitors like them may not be safe. Alan becomes worried because apart from Lisa's mansion, he is pretty much homeless, but Henriette tells him that the most feared unit in her kingdom, the Black Wolf Knights, are on the move, so they should avoid running into them. Henriette then turns to take her leave while the ladies debate whether to cut their trip short. Alan rushes after Henriette, telling the ladies to look around while he gets more deets from Henriette on the situation. However, the ladies just stand there like their brains forgot the concept of walking. Shortly after, Alan catches up with Henriette to ask if she is warning him because she is a disciple of the gods. However, Henriette replies that he only had access to that service when he was a hero in his past life, but now, she just wants to live like the spoiled princess that she is without having to worry about him. Alan tells her that he just wanted to confirm why she ended up in the same world as him, so she replies that their destiny are probably interconnected or something. She then adds that he returns and stops bothering her, so he smirks and takes his leave. On his way back to the ladies, he suddenly sees an explosion and rushes to check it out. While at it, he suddenly sees a stranger running towards him with a knife, so he dodges the stranger, thereby causing him to kiss the floor. Suddenly, dark magic takes over the stranger, causing him to bleed to death, which leaves Alan surprised. Just then, Lisette, the leader of the Black Wolf Knights, walks towards Alan to ask why he single-handedly eliminated their suspect in the explosion fiasco. Alan quickly tries to defend himself, but she refuses to believe him since he is at the crime scene. As she proceeds to arrest him, he suddenly disappears, which leaves her shocked, so she orders the knights with her to close the kingdom's borders immediately. Unknown to Lisette, Mylene was the one who teleported Alan to an underground drainage. Henriette, Lisa, and Noel soon join them, and Henriette lashes out at Alan for working straight into trouble after warning him. Lisa then explains Henriette returned to meet them after he left to request Mylene's power to save him. Alan thanks Henriette and pats Mylene on the head, but Henriette lets him know that he has no way to escape because the borders have been closed. Alan then stares at her mischievously, and she realizes that it can only mean one thing. So a few hours later, she takes them to her mansion to stay for the meantime. She then announces that she lives alone and her parents are dead, so they are free to do whatever they want. Alan asks why her kingdom is acting like they are expecting war, so she explains that their emperor was assassinated over a year ago, and they've been acting cautious ever since. Later in the night, Alan asks Henriette if she thinks the demons were responsible for the assassination, and she confirms that it looks like something they could do. Alan then lets her know she knows she's been watching him, thereby catching her off guard. He explains that bumping into her as soon as he entered the kingdom was too coincidental to be a coincidence. Though she knows her cover has been blown, she refuses to acknowledge his accusations and returns to her room. Getting to her room, she is glad to see that he is now a better version of himself compared to the stuck-up dude who people disliked in his past life, which is the main reason why she chose to reincarnate into his world to confirm if he is truly happy in his current life. The following morning, Noel crashes out massively because she is bored and misses forging swords. Henriette tells her to chill because the guards may get her if she steps out, so a defeated Noel resorts to forging an invisible sword to pass time, leaving Lisa worried that Noel may be losing her brain cells. Alan points out that he is the one the knights are after anyway, so he does not see Noel going out as a big deal. Noel then confirms if she can truly go out, and Henriette approves her departure, which leaves her excited. Shortly after, Noel heads out with Mylene to check the swordsmith's shop. Getting there, they are impressed at the way they forge their swords, and they stop for a snack break after leaving the shop. While at it, Noel notices a bunch of elves staring at her, and she wonders if her cuteness is about to break their local dating market. However, Mylene stops any elf bold enough to approach her before dragging Noel away from them. On getting home, Noel explains what went down to the others. As she continues to brag about how she plans to sign with a face modeling agency because she cannot allow her beauty to go to waste, Henriette interrupts her to let her know the elves are probably staring at her because they know her background. Confused, she tells Henriette she has no memory of her past, so Henriette offers to take her to an elven forest. Moments later, Henriette takes the others to the center of her mansion, where she uses her power to teleport them to the forest. Surprised, the others look at the forest while Henriette lets them know they are in a different dimension of her mansion. Alan asks if the forest is hidden with barrier magic to protect it from enemies, and Henriette confirms his suspicion, adding that the memories of anyone who leaves the forest are usually wiped to avoid any slip-up. Noel then concludes that it must be the reason she can't remember her memories. Alan suspects that Henriette must have helped the elves to construct the barrier, but Henriette quickly denies her involvement. She then takes them deep into the forest where they see elves, who corner them. While Alan and the ladies try to understand what is going on, the elves suddenly bow, and Henriette confirms that they are bowing to Noelle. A surprised Noelle wonders why, but Percival, the elves' regent, just talks about how they have been awaiting her return to the forest. Henriette then explains that Noelle's gift can only be possessed by the elven royal family, which makes Noelle realize that she is from a royal family. Percival formally welcomes Noelle back to the forest as the last royal blood alive, but Noelle tells him to hold his horses because she knows nothing about being a ruler. Percival replies that she can start by getting to know them better, and he offers to show her the forest. Noelle and the others then follow Percival, who shows them around and asks if Noelle likes what she sees. Noelle replies that she is still overwhelmed, just in time for two little demons to rush towards them. They then offer Noelle some nuts as gifts, and she accepts them. When they leave, Philip, a young elf, approaches Noelle, and even though Percival tells Philip that Noelle is busy, Philip argues that she spoke to some people before him and he finds it unfair that the bad guys got to talk to her first. Noelle wonders what Philip means by bad guys, but Percival cautions him before he can continue spilling, causing him to run off in anger. A few hours later, Noelle and the others celebrate a bonfire event with the elves. Percival uses the chance to open up to Alan about how it has been difficult for them to live without a ruler because they need to serve such a person to grow. He then talks about how Henriette told him she saw Noelle while she was stalking a friend of hers, and it rekindled his faith. He also talks about how Henriette helped them open up to other kinds by providing them goods they usually used, which helped them understand the other kinds better and even visit their towns to interact with them. Alan then asks if Henriette brought the little demons they saw earlier because he finds it weird that demons loathed by everyone are chilling with them. Percival replies that Henriette suddenly told them 3 years ago to shelter the demons because they had nowhere to go. Though most of the elves oppose it at first, Henriette cooked up a lie that embracing other kinds would make it easier for them to grow since they have no ruler. So they decided to accept them, even though some elves like Philip still feel a type of way about them. After the bonfire events, Noelle rants about how tired she feels from playing with the elves, but Mylene just wants to know if she will still play with her when she eventually agrees to be their ruler. Noelle replies that she really does not know yet, so Alan lessens the tension by suggesting that they all go to sleep. The others then go to their respective rooms, while Noelle just sits still, confused about what to do. Shortly after, she heads out to look at the moon as if it is going to tell her clues. Unknown to her, Alan watches her through his room window, but Henriette soon interrupts him to ask if he does not mind smashing her right away. Alan respectfully declines, which pisses Henriette off because she cannot believe he is passing off a baddie like her. After she is done ranting, Alan tells her that he heard about how she convinced the elves to house the little demons, and she immediately figures that Percival must have been the tattletale. She then explains her reason by talking about how demons actually originate from anyone who resents others to the point of wishing them dead, so the will of the world recognizes such a person as a demon. Unknown to such a person, whoever they give birth to automatically becomes a demon, but when the innocent demons grow up, they are branded as enemies, even though they know nothing about their predicament. She then decided to help any demon who falls into such a category. Hearing this, he praises her for being a kind-hearted chick, but she refuses to accept his compliment. When Percival shows them the forest's beautiful stream the following morning, Henriette advises Noelle that she has the right to turn them down if she does not feel like being their ruler. While at it, the little demons approach Noelle to give her a sparkly stone, so she accepts it and thanks them. However, Philip suddenly arrives to throw the stone out of spite and warns the demons to stay away from Noelle. The demons then cry because they feel sad, while Percival scolds Philip for trying to cause trouble. Philip just runs to town in anger, so Percival apologizes on Philip's behalf while Alan tells Henriette that elves must really dislike demons' guts. Shortly after, Henriette approaches Philip, who is crying, to scold him, but he defends himself by saying he did not like the demons getting cozy with Noelle. Henriette then lets him know that as long as the demons are kind to him, he has no reason to hold enmity against them, so he should embrace being friends with them instead. After she leaves, Philip determines to make them his friends, but as he proceeds to return to the forest, a sawtooth knight named Oswald grabs him and threatens him to take him along to the forest. A few hours later, Percival hosts Noelle and her friends to a fruit buffet. But as everyone eats, Noelle just sadly stares at her fruits because she prefers meat. After the meal, Henriette bids them farewell because she wants to go look for Philip since he is yet to return. Getting to town, Henriette searches everywhere for Philip but can't find him, which leaves her worried. Meanwhile, in the forest, Lisa asks Percival why all the elves do is eat fruit and refuse to work. So Percival explains that the concept of working is ancient to them because they grow at an incredibly slow rate compared to other races, which causes them to experience time and perceive most things like working hard differently. Feeling mischievous, Alan asks if Noelle is an elf that stopped downloading at 70% because she is obsessed with forging swords, but his question just earns him a hit from Noelle. Percival then continues his lecture by talking about how they can wish for any fruit and the forest would provide it for them. Hearing this, Alan starts to see the forest as a rent-free retirement lodge. Percival asks Noelle what she thinks of the forest. She replies that it is a nice place, but before she can continue, Alan interrupts her to ask Percival if he can make the forest his home. Percival replies that only the forest can approve if he should live with them. Confused, Noelle asks if the forest approved the little demons to live with them, and Percival replies that it was Henriette who brought them and they are only looking after them for a short time. Alan asks if he could also stay for a short time too, so Percival replies that he can. Alan then asks how short the short time is, and Percival replies that it could be about 100 years. Shocked, Lisa asks in what world is 100 years considered a short time, and Noelle replies that in the elf world, because they grow at an incredibly slow rate. Soon after, Percival tells them that the forest just whispered to him that a visitor has entered, but they should not be worried about it because it may be someone who has been granted permission by the kingdom to enter the forest. He then tells Noelle to excuse him to go receive the visitor. After he leaves, Alan tells the others that they should return to the inn reserved for them since he is still wanted and the visitor may recognize him. Inside the inn, Alan continues to yap on about how living in the forest will be really comfortable for him since Henriette is living close by. Hearing Alan acknowledge Henriette just makes Lisa start to feel jealous, so she wishes them good luck and stubborn youngsters to bless their upcoming marriage. Confused, Alan lets her know that Henriette is just his good friend, but she just barks at him to keep quiet, so he quickly complies while Mylene and Noelle talk about how they look like a couple going through a terrible divorce. A few hours later, Henriette receives Lisette at her mansion to accuse her of harboring a suspect in the Emperor's assassination. While Lisette's knights scatter the mansion to look for the suspect, Henriette tells Lisette it must be foolish of her to think she will keep a suspect in her house. Lisette smirks and replies that she knows of her frequent visits to the elven forest, which leaves her scared. In the meantime, Philip takes Oswald to the forest, so when Percival approaches them thinking Oswald is an approved visitor, he is surprised to see that Oswald tricked Philip into entering the forest. Recognizing Oswald as a member of the Black Wolf Knight, Percival remembers the time Henriette strictly warned him never to come in contact with them because they are not good people. Still, he keeps it cute and asks Oswald about his mission in the forest, so Oswald replies that he heard rumors of him keeping a criminal in the forest. Percival replies that he has no idea what he is talking about, but Oswald insists that he is sure the criminal is in the forest, so he better go get him for him. Just then, the little demons rush towards them with fruits, thinking Oswald is a kind visitor. Percival quickly tries to shield them from Oswald, but Oswald just pushes Percival out of the way and announces that hiding demons have been added to the forest's list of crimes. Percival pleads with Oswald to just let them go, but the power-drunk jerk casts a fire spell to eliminate the little demons. The sound of the explosion alerts Noelle and the others, so they rush out to see what is going on. However, Alan stays behind to think if it is best to join them, because when he tried to help people in his past life, they always refused his help because they thought he was a bad person. In the meantime, Percival protected the little demons by using a shield to block Oswald's spell. He then tells the demons to escape and uses the shield to attack Oswald, who dodges it successfully. Oswald targets the tree behind him next, but he barely dodges it. Oswald then moves closer to hurt the demons, where they are hiding, only for Philip to block him and protect the demons. Annoyed, Oswald vows to send him to the Lord first, but a hammer hitting his head prevents him from following through with his threat. Looking in the direction the hammer came from, he sees that Noelle is the perpetrator, and he asks if she is the leader of the forest. Noelle replies that she is just a swordsmith, while Mylene, who is with her, introduces herself as her assistant. Refusing to believe peanut-sized chicks like them are making mouths, he starts to cast a spell to destroy them, but they dodge each attempt. Seeing this, Percival summons his sword in a bid to save Noelle and rushes at Oswald, only for Oswald to kick him like he is Jet Li. He then proceeds to slice a defeated Percival with his sword, but Alan suddenly stops him with his sword halfway through. Oswald furiously lashes out at Alan for disturbing his victory battle and proceeds to strike him with his spell. However, seeing Alan's divine eyes makes him realize that Alan is above his level, so he directs his spell at innocent Noelle, only for Alan to stop the spell because he can see it with his divine eyes. Refusing to accept defeat, Oswald angrily attacks Alan, but Alan hits him mid-fight, causing him to fall unconscious. After the fight, Alan and the others wonder what they should do to Oswald's unconscious body before Henriette finds out. Unfortunately, Henriette interrupts them, but instead of getting angry, she assures them she will handle it and tells them that the border has been opened so they are free to return to their kingdom. Shortly after, Noelle bids Percival farewell because she feels there are still some things to learn before thinking of becoming a ruler, so Percival assures her that they will be waiting for her. 30 minutes later, Lisa worries that they did not bid Henriette a proper farewell before leaving, especially after everything she has done for them. But Alan assures her that Henriette is the type that finds accepting gratitude weird. They then proceed to leave only for a red-haired dude named Curtis to stop them and tell them that he needs their help in saving his sister, Henriette, which leaves them worried. Soon after, They all settle in a bar where Curtis tells them about how Henriette has been detained by the Black Wolf Knights on the charge of assassinating the Emperor, and she will be taken to the capital for her sentence. An annoyed Noel then urges them to do everything within their power to fight for Henriette's innocence. However, Curtis explains that it is going to be harder than a horse trying to pass through a needle because any evidence they show would be suppressed because most of the prestigious people in the kingdom envy how Henriette carries herself. Alan totally understands that statement because he knows how Henriette can be and asks Curtis if there is any friend or relative he can call for help. Curtis replies that he and Henriette have always been excluded from family events. Still, Lisa suddenly remembers the time Henriette told them she is the only youngling of her dead parent and starts to suspect Curtis's story. However, seeing Curtis pleading so earnestly for them to save Henriette, she begins to believe he may be telling the truth. After the meeting, Alan tells the others that he finds it suspicious that Curtis approached them, especially since Henriette specifically told them that she is an only youngling. The others also wonder how Curtis was able to pinpoint that they are Henriette's friends when they've never met him before. However, Alan tells them that they should focus on helping Henriette because he can see with his divine eyes that Henriette is actually being taken to the capital. In the meantime, Henriette complains to Lisette for holding her like a Christmas goat waiting to be slashed, despite her status in the kingdom. Lisette replies that she should bear with her because the gravity of her offense is the reason behind her being held that way. So Henriette tells her that she better keep to her side of the bargain by letting Alan and his friends leave the borders safely if she does not want her head to roll over. Shortly after, Alan and the ladies meet with Curtis so they can follow him to the capital. But seeing the knight with Curtis dressed like he is avoiding COVID, the ladies begin to doubt if following him is the right choice. Still, they follow him in the sophisticated wagon he got from Temu, but Noel and Lisa continue to use their eyes to communicate about Curtis's real intention. Alan then voices their mind by asking Curtis if he is truly Henriette's brother and how he is so sure that they are friends with Henriette. Curtis comes clean by explaining that he is actually Henriette's cousin and not brother, but she has always been a sister to him because whenever everybody shades him for being powerless, Henriette was the only one who always stood by him. However, his parents always separated them whenever they were together because they disliked Henriette, so he was only able to watch her from afar. He then adds that he knew they were friends with her because he always saw them with Henriette whenever he watched her from afar, which is how he also knew when the Black Wolf Knights took her with them. He also blames himself for being a coward when they took her instead of confronting them. Lisa takes pity on him and consoles him that talking about the situation alone shows he has strength in him. Noel also apologizes for finding him suspicious, and hearing them say this makes Curtis feel relieved. A few hours later, the Black Wolf Knight takes a rest because it is already late to continue the journey to the capital. Henriette uses the chance to ask Lisette for an update on Oswald, but Lisette replies that he has already been released since she has been arrested and the kingdom does not care about anything but her captivity. Henriette feels it is unfair, but Lisette reminds her that she did make a lot of enemies in the kingdom with her sharp mouth. The following morning, Alan and the others arrive at the border of the town only to find it locked. Curious as to what may be the reason behind it, Alan suggests they check out the Adventurers Guild in the area for more information. Curtis then explains that Noel and Mylene will have to stay because the people in the area are not used to interacting with their kind, so Lisa suggests that she and Alan go alone. Getting to the Adventurer Guild, Lisa and Alan learn that the people are gossiping about how the Black Wolf Knight is looking for a group of 6, which makes them suspect that it may be them. Just then, a member of the Black Wolf Knight barges in to ask the adventurer for a group of 6. From the way the knight is discussing it, Alan can figure they don't know their identity yet. The knight continues to talk about how he is going to reward any adventurer who finds them, so one of the adventurers quickly points in the direction of where Alan and Lisa were standing, only to find out that they have already escaped. Immediately, the knight rushes out and sees Alan and Lisa running, so he runs after them. While at it, Alan carries Lisa bridal style and flies away like Spider-Man to avoid the angry knight. Soon after, they find a place to hide. And as they start to think of the best way to avoid any knights they find, they suddenly see an explosion coming from the inn Curtis and the others are supposed to be at, so they rush there. Getting there, they see Oswald holding Lisa and Noel hostage, and Oswald tells Alan to brace himself for the rerun match of what went down at the Elven Forest. Lisa looks around and sees Curtis lying under a pile of rock, so she rushes to help him only to be stopped by Oswald, who tells her not to bother playing hero. Oswald then continues to provoke Alan into fighting with him by treating Lisa and Noel like pawns. Alan replies that he should pick the best way he would wish to die, but he just thinks he is bluffing. So when he suddenly feels pain in his left arm, he collapses to the ground in pain before laughing like a maniac, which leaves Alan confused. Alan then uses his divine eyes to scan the area, and he discovers that Oswald already used an invincible thread to hold everyone, so he can explode them at any time he wants. Realizing this, he remembers a time in his past life when he once tried to save a youngster who wanted nothing to do with him, so he wonders if he should just leave the people alone and focus on his friends. His goodwill side soon wins his internal argument, and he starts cutting the threads to save the people. After he is done, he proceeds to chop Oswald's head off, only to be stopped by Celia, the vice captain of the Black Wolf Knights, who believes the best punishment for Oswald is to be handed to the Knights since he is one of them, promising to make sure Oswald faces the appropriate music. Alan agrees to hand Oswald over, and Celia thanks him for it. A few hours later, Lisa lets Alan know that the town is no longer locked down, so they can leave for the capital the following morning. However, Alan finds the move suspicious because the Knights were literally after them not long ago, so he wonders what changed their mind. Lisa understands his point and even drops her 2 cents about how she wonders who the Knights may be working for, since their emperor is dead. A few hours later, Alan peeps from a hideout to see what is happening at the capital's border, and he tells the others they will need a travel permit to get in. Since they don't have access to a travel permit, Lisa suggests that they dig a long tunnel that will take them right into the capital. However, Alan feels the plan is risky because they may end up right in the midst of the capital's soldiers, and that will be the end of them. Curtis then lets them know that the capital does have secret tunnels that are used in times of emergency. With that, Curtis wishes them good luck as they take the tunnel since he has a travel permit to pass through the border. Alan and the ladies then locate the tunnel and start to walk through it until Lizette approaches them, so they quickly use Mylene's power to hide themselves. Lizette then shoots an arrow in their direction to let them know she knows their trick, but Alan stops the arrow. Still, she shoots another one in the ladies' direction, so they quickly reveal themselves to avoid being cooked. Alan then tells the ladies to leave while he faces Lizette because he does not want to involve them in the fight, so they leave him alone, hoping he comes out victorious. Shortly after, the ladies find Curtis and tell him what went down at the tunnel, which catches him by surprise. Meanwhile, Lizette and Alan continue to fight in the tunnel until the tunnel starts to crumble. Curtis and the ladies also see the tunnel from afar, and as the ladies start to worry about Alan's well-being, Curtis smirks. So when Alan suddenly pulls up in front of them, the ladies greet him while Curtis stares in disappointment. Alan notices Curtis' sudden face change, but Curtis quickly denies it, blaming it on the weather. Alan then asks him for the plan to save Henriette, only for him to say they should rest for now because he does not have any plan yet. Shortly after, Alan appears in the room where Henriette is currently being held hostage to check on her. Shocked, Henriette asks how he got into the room in the first place, but he just wants to know how to get her out and save her head. Henriette lets him know that she is being held on false charges, so she's going to be released eventually. Alan is relieved to hear this, and Henriette tells him he does not need to worry about her so he can leave. On the way out, Alan stares at her one last time before finally teleporting out of the room. The following morning, Curtis lets them know that there are rumors of Henriette collaborating with Alan to destroy the kingdom. Hearing this surprises the ladies while Curtis continues to talk about how it is best for them to leave the kingdom before everything goes south. Noelle and Lisa protest that they are not going to leave until they save Henriette, but Curtis tells them not to worry, promising to figure out something himself. Moments later, Curtis brags to Henriette that he now possesses dark magic that helps him control the Black Wolf Knight, which leaves her stunned. When she regains herself, she questions why he chose to frame him for the Emperor's assassination. He replies that he would love to be the kingdom's emperor, and he would need her help to achieve that. She figures that he wants to marry her to gain legitimacy to the throne since his mother was a peasant, but she refuses to help him, calling him dumb for even thinking she can lower her standards for him. She then returns to sleep in the cell he reserved for tuning out Curtis's continuous plea to help him. Disappointed, Curtis promises to come back with the hope that she is ready to agree to his deal. On the way out, he sees Lizette and tells her that he heard about her tunnel accident, but Lizette just apologizes for not being able to eliminate Alan. Curtis tells her not to sweat it, because he is sure that Alan is on his way out of the kingdom anyway. True to Curtis's words, Alan and the ladies are on their way out of the kingdom, but Noelle still feels a type of way because they didn't get to save Henriette. Alan assures her that the last time he saw Henriette, she told him not to worry about her, so he is sure she is capable of taking care of herself. A few hours later, Curtis returns to Henriette to see if she has changed her mind. When he sees that she is refusing to cooperate, he threatens that he is going to have her hanged. Determined to die, she shows him the best way she would love to be hanged, which makes him realize that she really must hate his guts. Henriette also confirms that the closest he is going to be to her at her wedding, if she decides to have one, is as the pastor's servant, and hearing this makes him mad, so he promises to eliminate Alan to spite her. Henriette remains unfazed because she is sure Alan can defend himself, so Curtis promises to burn the elven forest instead. Henriette replies that she is sure he is just bluffing, and this makes him furious, so he punches her to the other side of the room. He then kicks her continuously, because he does not understand why she is acting so difficult before running off angrily. The following morning, Alan and the ladies stop at a town to get some foodstuffs they feel will last them for the rest of their journey. While at it, a worried Lisa tells Alan that they should return and rescue Henriette because she thinks that is the best thing to do. The guards Curtis sent to escort them to their kingdom then interrupt them to urge them to return if they feel that is what is best to do. A few hours later, Curtis returns to Henriette to convince her again, but she refuses. The dark spirit in Curtis then takes over his body, and he controls it to harm Henriette. While at it, Alan suddenly arrives to cut through the magic with his sword, which leaves Curtis furious. The guard with Alan also reveals herself as Celia, and she announces that she serves the kingdom and not Curtis's demented self. 1 month ago, Curtis visited the demon to request that he make Henriette his babe, so the demon tells him that he can only grant his wish if he eliminates the emperor to become the new emperor. Curtis worries that it is impossible since he does not have ties to the royal family, so there is no way he can meet the emperor, and the demon grants him dark magic that will help him successfully eliminate the emperor. Now that he has the powers, he cannot believe someone like Alan is going to stop him from getting what he wants. However, Alan reminds him that he is not even the owner of the powers he is flexing. Annoyed, he angrily attacks him with magic, but Alan effortlessly dodges them. Henriette also tells him to stop stressing himself because there is no way he is going to defeat Alan, but he refuses to. Alan strikes him down, and he sits in defeat. After the fight, Alan asks Curtis for the main objective behind his whole charade, so Curtis replies that he just wanted to be an emperor. Confused, Alan asks why he was after his life then since he is just an outsider. Curtis replies that he thought Henriette had a crush on him, so Alan figures that what he truly wants is to be Henriette's man. Curtis realizes this and starts to cry bitterly for allowing the power in him to attack Henriette. Henriette then moves closer to tell him that she can never develop feelings for him, only for her to find out that Curtis was just pretending as the dark powers start to take over him again. He then uses the power to hold her, promising to eliminate Alan so he can have her all to himself. Just then, Lizette arrives to cut down some of Curtis's power, which leaves the others surprised because they thought they were working together. Lizette explains that Alan saved her from the tunnel, but this only leaves Curtis furious, and he allows the power to consume him fully so he can deal with all of them. However, Alan uses his sword to hit Curtis right in the chest, thereby causing him to explode. After the fight, Henriette scolds Alan for coming back to save her after clearly telling him she does not need his help, but Alan knows it is just her little way of thanking her. Lizette interrupts them to tell them to escape before other knights start looking for them. With that, Alan, Henriette, and the others leave the kingdom for good. If you watched this anime recap and made it to the end, let us know in the comments if you'd survive a week in Alan's kingdom. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more anime recaps like this.